Hey guys, Artosis here, bringing you some more RISS. We are in a best of 7, as you see here, between Mihu and Fengzi. We have Fengzi on the left side of Sylphid and Mihu on the right side. So right now, Mihu does lead 2-1. We'll see if he can expand upon that lead and get up to match point here on Sylphid. You know, obviously that last map was a little bit difficult for Mihu. He did choose to 8 racks, which didn't pay off. Fengzi with some counter harassment did a great job and really controlled the flow of that game. Mihu definitely gave himself opportunities to maybe come back and make it a really competitive game, but Fengzi shut everything down well enough. Now the question is, what happens here for Fengzi? Because I do get the feeling watching these two play, and I do know from their results and everything, and that Mihu, I think, is just a stronger player overall. I think he's the strongest player in this tournament. Again, the strongest player that is not Korean. So it should be a little bit difficult for Fengzi. Like, he's really got to bring his best stuff and have a good plan on each map. Now, this map in particular, Sylphid, is extremely good for Mutalisk harassment. It's also good for speedlings in the early game. So I wouldn't mind him going for that. Like, this spawn that Fengzi is in, the main base is pretty defendable. Like, at least your minerals are against a wall. You know, you maybe have to build some extra turrets here. Obviously, you have to watch out for the being near the edges. You can see his barracks is spaced back pretty well, so the mutas can't just hit it with impunity. But the natural expansion down here is incredibly hard to defend from Mutalisk harassment. There's one patch that kind of sticks out, and everything is up against the water. So you can't really get missile turrets to hurt mutas, and they can kind of kill SCVs for free. Like, the missile turrets will hit a little bit, but not, like, if Sylphid was made today, they would redo the mineral patches at the naturals, right? Like, there needs to be, like, a little bit of distance there so the mutas actually can be hit by things while they deal damage, right? So that could be the type of play that we see out of Fengzi, just something very Mutalisk harassment oriented. And, you know, the timing on this does look like 2 hatchery Mutalisk, just kind of following Mihu's SCV right now to see what he's up to. I mean, he's scouting very normal stuff. You're not afraid of anything at this point. And in fact, Mihu takes his expansion extremely quickly, getting that before the second depot. Second depot goes up. And we can see Mihu do things like add a second barracks at this point. The Overlord pops in, and he knows exactly what he's dealing with. By the way, this is that natural I was talking about. Notice how it's all up against the edge. And then this patch in particular, like, you can have a missile turret here, but you can't have one here. You could have one here, and you can have one here, right? So, like, the mutas, when they hit here, if you look at Mutalisk range, the mutas will be about here when they hit that, and then the turrets are, like, barely ever firing at them. So this patch kind of screws up the mining on this base. I think you'll see it, honestly. I hope I'm not over-speaking this, and then it just doesn't happen, and you're like, okay, Artosis. But I think it's very likely you'll see him focus on harassing that patch. So, and all the patches are very harassable. You can see here as well, right? You have 3 places you can't see up. So the Mutalists have all these areas where they can harass. This is a hard one to defend as well, but I find this one to be the most difficult of all because of that. Even though you have the vision, the turrets just don't range. So anyways, a bunker going up, double barracks. There is the academy coming as well, so everything well timed out here from Mihu. The bunker, I'm not surprised to see him get that. Generally, if you go for the command center before that second depot, you don't have many early Marines, so you want that bunker. The bunker adds... It's like saying that you have 2 more Marines or something like that, right? Like, it's like a structure that kind of counts in that way. It adds range to them. It adds a lot of health to them as well. So, a few lings out on the map. He does have that speed upgrade coming. A drone moving out for a 3rd base pretty quickly. But, ooh, Mihu actually sent his SCV up to 12 o'clock. So, he knows that it's likely that Fengzi wants to take a 3rd base out on the map. The most common one is actually right here in these positions. We see Zergs take that a lot. But if Fengzi is coming over here to take this, that means he wants an easy 4th base. That's what taking another main means. So I don't know if Mihu saw that, actually. He may have. They may have seen each other. In which case, there's a possibility that we see a rush up to this location. Like, look, these medics are popping out in time. That Mihu actually can unload his bunker and go with 7 Marines and 2 medics and attack this base, and he'll get there before mutas can stop him. But of course, that leaves him a little bit more naked at home. Looks like he's going to move out with 7 Marines and a medic. He's leaving 1 medic back. All right, plows down that Zergling there. Doesn't look like he's making his way towards this location. Instead, going towards the natural. Does a scan. He sees the eggs. He knows Mutalisks are in those eggs. A creep colony on the way as well. So what he achieved here was just forcing a creep colony. That's about it. But even a move like that, obviously something that you want to do. Now, missile turrets are going to get started. 3 barracks play here from Mihu. Very clean. Like, this is generally how you want to go about it. The missile turrets, like, obviously you need these up at the top there. And he is placing the missile turrets kind of how I said, right? He's putting 1 here. He's putting 1 here. And this one actually interrupts mine just slightly there, but not too much. And like I said, he could put 1 here, but I don't see too many people do it. You know, you don't want to interrupt your mining too much. Now, here the mutas come. And they are gathering up behind these mineral patches. We'll see if he goes directly for that, or maybe does a scout of the base first. A lot of Zergs like to move in and see, like, are you getting your factory really quick? Am I going to have to deal with Valkyries pretty soon? Something like that. So 7 mutas here. Mihu's starting to move out with his Bioforce. 8 Mutalisks, 2 more on the way. That 3rd base is up. Gas being taken. And the Muta's getting ready to dive in. Sometimes you see Zergs save their Mutalisks and save all the health on them and not dive in at all until they have a big amount. Oftentimes, this is because they want to kill the turret quickly. With this many Mutas, it's 3 shots to kill the turret. And he's going to go ahead and just dive on the turrets here at the barracks. So, yeah, as I said, 3 shots, right? So he's killing these very, very, very quickly. And now there's no defense for these barracks. But Mihu is acting like he's doing a counterattack. He actually turns around with most of his army. He wanted the Mutas to see that, by the way, the turnaround, because then he might not defend against these 5 Marines that are headed up here. So the 5 Marines, luckily for Fengzi, he has these Lings that will slow them down just slightly, and now his Mutas can make a beeline up there. He should be able to save this base. I don't think that there's any way that this hatchery could die at this point. If he hadn't seen it till they got up here, then it's a much more likely case that he can deal significant damage. But the Mutas will get up here. Yeah, he'll kill a drone. He killed some Lings. Not a huge deal. A very good move from Mihu, and Fengzi blocks it extremely well. Now, that type of thing buys Mihu a huge amount of time. Right? That's huge. We haven't seen any harassment on the mineral patches. Fengzi having this base kind of be so far away, like he had to take any threats to it very seriously. But the thing is, because he took this base, he's building up to a later game. You know, he wants that as his 4th. That's why you would expand here as opposed to here. This is easier to defend, but it keeps you on 3 base longer. So another dive onto those missile turrets, and Mihu moving out once again. Fengzi going to turn around with what he has there, and staying here for now. Blocks the SCV from constructing that 4th barracks, and looks like he has decided to go out and try to save himself from this Marine medic. Now, +1 range, all that done. Good amount of Marines. It looks like about 20 and 4 medics. So, like, 3-4 Sunkens is not that big a deal, but if the Mutas come back, you will lose that fight. So Mihu has to be careful about this. Kind of stimming around, running around the map right now. And Fengzi, as he has his 4 done, and he's still making a bunch of Mutas, decides to go back and attack again. In fact, Mihu sees this coming, cancels his turrets that he was building. And it's funny. It's like Fengzi here is just going really hard on harassing specifically the production area. But it hasn't really worked for him yet. You know, that it looks like this base, by the way, might be screwed at this point. Fengzi way out of position. But yeah, he hasn't really been killing that many Marines that come out of the production facilities. He's killed the turrets several times. But if that's all you're doing, you're killing turrets and turning around, what does Terran care about that? Now he is taking out some of the bio. More Mutas coming down here as well. But the returning force of Mihu definitely is going to be enough to deal with the remaining Mutas here. We have about 10, 11. Yeah, so like a full group or so. Continues harassing. But look, 36 SCVs is actually pretty solid for 2-base production in this matchup. I mean, obviously you want more than that, but his SCV count is not critical condition or anything like that. 3rd base is dead for Fengzi. And honestly, like, it just feels like the overall idea that Fengzi had here to continually kill off the turrets at those barracks. Like, that is one way to win, is you get on top of production facilities. But since he was never able to remain there, that became a huge problem. Now, Lurker upgrade is on the way. So Fengzi, like, he's still in this. He's still doing things. And now finally goes after this natural. So he takes out the first 2 turrets very quickly. So not a lot of good defense here. He's going to be able to take out that gas. By the way, his hive is almost done here. Hydras are popping out as that Lurker upgrade just finished as well. We'll have to see if he can actually secure a 3rd base while doing this harassment, though. And you see already no mining going on at the natural. This is something that could have happened a little bit earlier, like I was kind of alluding to. Fengzi, of course, having other plans that didn't quite work out. Now, the MUTAS here just killing off this factory. That's annoying. You don't necessarily need it. But he's got to move this starport as well. He doesn't want to have the MUTAS killing that as well. So down that goes. The MUTAS continue to put out a fair amount of damage here. Goes after the SCVs in the main base. Taking quite a few turret hits. Sees Irradiate is on the way. Now SCVs being sent down, rebuilding those 2 turrets. Quite a few Lurkers coming out. Look at this. 3 Lurkers. He might be able to get a nice hold position here. Okay, he's just going to burrow in vision. He's trying to block this path. So he just ran up. Instead of getting that hold position, he decides, you know what, we'll just use a containment. You know these are here. That's fine. And this is incredibly hard to deal with. Incredibly hard. The MUTAS come back to harass this natural once again. Those 2 turrets get picked off, and now the SCV is going to start to fall as well. Mihu trying to break through the Lurkers. Oh my god. Just not working. But he kills enough that he can move out through the north. And, you know, he's just looking for any play he can get at this point because this position is very, very bad. Normally you would utilize siege tanks to break out of something like this if you knew it was coming. But he lost his factory to the Mutalisks, if you recall. So, terrible situation. Consume is on the way. The first Defiler is out and ready to come down here. As soon as a Darkstorm goes up in the natural, this game is going to end. A couple Lurkers coming from the other direction as well. Great targeting right there with his Marines. He does have that +1 attack. The MUTAS come in and definitely wants to eliminate this. Kills off the Lurker, but the MUTAS is going to clear everything else. Sends 1 Marine out here to tank Lurker shots. Beautifully done on that defense matrix. Knows he has to break out right now. Can he do it? Can he kill every Lurker here? Oh my god, it's so close. It's so close. It's so close. No, 1 Lurker actually ends up surviving. Mihu retreats. We need fire bats, and he is making 5 fire bats right now. He knows he has to break out of here while the unit count is low. Don't forget, Fengzi right now is only on 2 bases. He lost his 3rd. He's trying to remake it, but it's not up yet. He doesn't have a ton of income. Now, here come those fire bats. He's going to leave his Marines here to tank shots. The fire bats run up and surround that first Lurker. 1 Lurker against 5 fire bats. The 5 fire bats will end up working. But there were some Lings in here as well. Looks like he should have enough. Kills off the Lurker also. Lings coming out, and nothing remains as far as fire bats. He does have a couple more joining in, so going to try that once again. That Defiler being pushed out of the Dark Swarm as well. Oh my god. Mihu breaking out magnificently here. What a tough situation he was put into. But, you know, Fengzi, I think those dives on those turrets really did hurt him. Like, he had a lot more potential for other damage. And just didn't get a whole lot. Also, with his aggressive nature expanding to this base, that's a lot harder to defend. Might not have been the right ploy, but either way, now Mihu seems to have a pretty big advantage. Okay, let's take a look at what Fengzi has. He has Plague on the way. He's making some Lurkers. Okay, Night is going up. 4 Sunkens here. 4 Sunkens. Honestly, like, you put a defense matrix on something, you're going to break it. You need, like, a Lurker there, too, or 2 Lurkers there, and then it's very easy to defend. Up here, he's got a single Lurker, no Lurker stack. Looks like a small group coming up for a flank. Yeah, I don't know about this. I don't know how useful this is. Like, he's guarding this area. Okay. Looks like a little group of Marines checking to see if he took a 3rd here. That's what I would think as well. They are going to find a couple Overlord kills, which is a big deal. Irradiate's going down in the meantime. That 1 Lurker going to end up falling. Second Lurker going back to join up with its Lurker bro at this choke. Yeah, you had an irradiate there. Nice. We'll have another in a moment, but the Nidus Canal is finishing up, so maybe you hold on as Fengzi. But there's a magic number for Lurker Defiler defense that I talk about a lot in my casting, and that's 70 supply. If you have 70 supply, you're basically just holding anything. Here, he's at 49. It's just not enough. You can kind of break him anywhere at this point. Look at this. Just stims in right into the Lurker spines. Doesn't matter. There's just nothing left here. So it looks like Mihu is going to take down this game. GG. Mihu leads 3-1.